Hi everybody, it's Lisa here from Holistic Health by Lisa Moan. Thanks for joining me again tonight for my weekly Facebook Live. And this week I'm going to be talking about acne and how to avoid some of the horrendous medications that are on offer for acne. Feel free to pop any questions in the box below and I'll try to answer that when I'm still live. So just get typing. Next week I'll be talking about allergies and how to test for allergies, because there's lots of information out there and there's a bit of a lack of information as well about the options that are available. So I'll be covering that next week. So if you do have allergies or suspected allergies in your family, then join me next week and find out all about that. So acne is something that I suffered with badly from I was about 13 until I was about 25. So for a very long time, I really didn't grow out of it when I expected to. And I went through everything, every treatment that was available at that time. I tried it. And I was on antibiotics for years. So for someone who actually preaches to people only to use antibiotics in life-threatening situations, I was on antibiotics for about 2 or 3 years, and I have to say it had zero impact on my skin. It really didn't improve it, and what it would have done is absolutely decimate my gut health. So it would have overall had a very negative consequence on my skin. So it's crazy. I'm not sure if that still happens, but it's a crazy solution to acne. After that didn't work, I was put on the pill to regulate hormones, and that did help my skin, but it gave me migraines where I really couldn't get out of bed for days at a time, so that was a no-no. And finally, when I still had acne at 25, I was put on Roaccutane, which has been, I'm pretty sure it has been banned in America because it leads to suicidal thoughts, but I still know that it's prescribed in Australia. And it has horrendous, life-changing sorts of side effects. So again, really you want to be really at the end of the road with alternative treatments before you go to Roaccutane. And I know it does get pretty serious when you have severe acne, because it really is very upsetting and it has a very large impact on someone's mental health. So of course you have to consider all the options, but Roaccutane is a pretty hardcore solution. But funnily enough, my dad had really bad acne as well, and when he was conscripted for World War II, he failed the medical because he had such bad acne on his back. So even every cloud has a silver lining, so even acne has some perks. And because he had acne, and I think my mum had acne, there's a very strong chance that I would have it. If both parents have acne, then there's a 75% chance that one of their kids will have it. So if you have had acne and your husband has had acne, you really want to prepare yourself for your child turning into a teenager in case they suffer from it as well. So educating yourself in advance before the spots to appear is really helpful. Because when I was young, all the magazines, everything I read said, don't worry about what you eat, it doesn't have any impact on your skin. And of course that's ludicrous. Of course what you eat is going to impact your skin health. It's not to say that chocolate gives you spots or crisps give you spot, but overall, if you eat a healthier diet that supports good health and good skin health, good gut health and good skin health, that will lead to less acne. Another thing that I tried when I was younger was sunbeds. So I would literally go to one of those stand-up sunbeds and get my 10 minutes of UV radiation every week. So I had a beautiful brown tan in Ireland in the middle of the winter. I'm sure nobody had a clue what was going on. So as far as diet goes for acne, the first thing to do is to cut out dairy, and that's easy. There's nothing hard about cutting out dairy. You switch from normal milk to almond milk or coconut milk. You switch from yogurt to coconut yogurt or even almond yogurt. So that is very easy to do in the grand scheme of things. And milk is designed to grow cows, so it contains lots of hormones and something called insulin-like growth factor, which is really strongly linked to acne, and it encourages sebum, so it encourages the oil to be produced in your skin, and it's when that oil gets stuck and plugs the pore, that's where you get spots. So cutting out dairy will reduce the oiliness of your skin and therefore reduce spots. So before, you don't even have to talk to anybody about that, just cut it out. And if you're worried about calcium, which most people are when I say that they need to cut out dairy, there are lots of other sources of calcium out there. So green leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds, tinned salmon, like there's heaps of other ways to get your calcium. So don't worry about that. The next sort of overall change to make to your diet or your child's diet is to lower the glycemic index of the diet. So that means switching from a food that's got rice and pasta and lots of processed food and sugar to a diet that's got more vegetables, good quality proteins, good quality fats, and more of a balanced carbohydrate, protein, fat at every meal. That will lower the glycemic index, which will then reduce the insulin produced by the body and reduce that insulin-like growth factor again. So therefore, the sebum production goes down. Lowering the glycemic index of your diet is a no-brainer because it improves children's mood and behaviour. For adults, it helps you control your weight and your appetite and how much you eat. So there's heaps of information out there about how to do it, but you really want to go to a low glycemic index diet. The third thing to do is to add more fibre. And if you have already gone to a low glycemic index diet, then you have probably increased your fibre naturally. So fibre doesn't have to be breakfast cereal, which is being very promoted, that's how you get your fibre. But you get your fibre from nuts, from seeds, from fruits, from vegetables, all those things. And you really want to be getting about 30 grams a day, so heaps and heaps of fibre. And if you struggle to do that through food, then you can add something like psyllium husks in a glass of water. Kids might not go for that, but adults certainly could. For kids, one of my favourite things, or like teenagers, one of my favourite things to do is to make muffins from flax seeds. And you can put cinnamon in there, you can throw in a few sultanas and make it like a raisin bread, and give a muffin for breakfast or morning tea, and you'll be on top of your fibre intake if you do that, because they won't even know. Drinking water is really important. So if your child currently drinks milk, then definitely just switch that to water. And if they're not a big water drinker, then find ways to make it more attractive. So add lemon, add some mint, add some cucumber, whatever, and maybe change the temperature. So if you've been giving it chilled, maybe give it room temperature or vice versa. Find a way that's going to make it more attractive to your child. Don't add anything sugary like cordial or anything like that, because obviously if you add the sugar, then you're increasing the glycemic index of your diet, and that will lead to more acne. And your water quality has to be considered too. If you're just drinking town water, there might be contaminants in that which are not helping your gut health. So move to a water filter and get the best quality water that you can, which of course will also taste really nice. Because I go to some people's houses and they give me water to drink, and I can really taste the chlorine in it, and it just doesn't taste as good because it's not filtered. And of course your teenager isn't going to drink it if it doesn't taste good. So invest in a water filter. So overall, you want to avoid processed foods. So foods that are high in trans fats, and that's things like cakes that are made, bought in a supermarket, fried food, takeaway food. They've all got lots and lots of trans fats in them. So get rid of all that processed stuff to start off with, and then get rid of all the really refined carbohydrates. So the white rice, the white potatoes, the white pasta. Switch all those out and replace them with vegetables or lower GI alternatives. Really, really do your best to address your acne through food and nutrition and supplements, and try to avoid taking the things that are going to have a damaging effect on your gut. So the antibiotics, the oral contraceptive pill Roaccutane, those will all have a negative impact on your gut health and lead to a worsening of your acne in the long term potentially. There are lots of nutrients that you can take as well specifically, but I won't go into those right now because we're just talking about food. But if you want to look into it, there are certain probiotics and certain vitamins that will definitely help, and certain essential fatty acids as well. And try and keep stress to a minimum. So if your child is very anxious about having the acne, that is going to be a vicious cycle. So make sure they do some mindfulness. I have an article on my website about mindfulness for children. So try and incorporate some of those things into your child's daily life so they're not worrying and they're not becoming really self-conscious about their skin. So I hope you found that helpful, and if you've got any questions, just pop them below. Next week, as I say, I'll be talking about food allergies, how to test for them, how to identify if your child has food allergies, what the symptoms might look like. So join me next week for that, and if you've got any questions in advance that you would like me to answer for that, please just post them underneath the event and I'll try to answer them. So thank you and enjoy the rest of your night.